Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the book Refuge and welcome to my August to be read. I know this is much earlier than a lot of other creators do them, but that's just what works best with me. I like to plan out buddy reads that I'm going to do and let my followers know what I'm going to be reading, because a lot of times you guys like to read them along with me, or I'll inspire you to read something, and so I like to give people time for that. So we're just going to dive right in. We have a lot of books to talk about and I'm very excited. So let's go ahead and start with the arcs that I'm planning to read in August. So the ones that I currently already have, because that's the tough part too, is lately I do a lot of, indie arcs, and a lot of times you only get those like a week ahead of time because authors have a much tighter schedule with how they do those. So, I don't know for sure what other arcs will come my way, but these are the ones I have coming kind of with traditional or indie published presses that have it out already. So I'm very excited to be reading Her Countess to Cherish by Jane Walsh. This is going to be Women Loving Women, I believe, and possibly, I'm not sure whether it is a trans heroine or if it is just, someone undercover. Like, I don't know. But the way that the description describes it is that the heroine is falling for a hero, but that hero is actually a woman who is dressed as a man. And I don't know, like, if it's supposed to be trans or if it's supposed to be someone undercover. So I don't know yet. The title isn't completely, like the description wasn't completely clear, but I was excited about it. I loved this cover and I was like, well, we'll find out. We'll find out, where this is on the LGBT, landscape. We'll see. But either way, I'm excited because it sounds good and it looks good. There was quite a few LGBTQ options put on in NetGalley recently. So for Pride Month and stuff, things were put up. So that's great. Then I'm going to read With You Forever by Chloe Leese. This will be book 4 in the Bergman series. I want to read the first 2 books in this series soon. I actually did review and read the third one, which just blew me away. It was A Marriage in Trouble. This one, I don't know which couple this is. I don't care. I saw Chloe Leese and I was like, oh, I'm going to read number 4. So this one I plan to read in August. And then there is A Duke Most Unusual, which is, I think is supposed to be like a bear shifter historical. I don't know, but I got this one from Edelweiss and I'm very intrigued by what is happening here. So we're gonna give this a go. Then some new releases that I want to read in August, which will either have come out or are like about to come out. There will be Burn It Down, which actually I just got an arc for this book. Like literally between the time when I made this list and now I'm filming this, I reached out to Julia Wolf to ask if I could get an arc for this book and I got it. So I'm already going to be reading this one. I also just purchased It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I have heard great things about this. I've heard it's super steamy, that it's a bit like Schitt's Creek mixed with some interesting stuff. And then there's a surly, sexy local who thinks she doesn't belong there. I loved the Hot and Hammered series, and so I'm so excited to read this. I also heard the hero eats booty. Like, that keeps getting spread around, and I'm like, this girl likes that, so let's see. So yeah, this one just recently came out. This was one I tried so hard to get an arc for, but like, while I used to be able to get arcs for Tessa Bailey when her traditionally published books weren't as big as they are, she's now like outpaced what I'm able to get an arc for, but that's okay because now I have the physical to read. I will probably grab the audio to go with this one and I'm very excited. Another one that I will also probably grab the audio for because I really loved the audio for the first one, and that's going to be The Viscount Made Me Do It. This one also comes out on the 27th, but just like sometimes my Barnes & Noble has these out early. So this one comes out on July 27th, but I got this one early. This one is part of the Clandestine Affair series. So the first one was Her Night with the Duke. So this one is about Hannah, and she is a bone setter. And then our hero, Thomas, is a Viscount, and he has been in a lot of pain for a little bit because he's literally had like joints out of whack, or like bones out of whack, since he was injured in the military. A few of my friends have read arcs of this and they really enjoyed it, so I'm very excited. I just love the color palette too. It's beautiful. And I believe this is an interracial romance as well, because our heroine, I don't know what her nationality is, but I'm pretty sure that it's different. I think it's Middle Eastern, from somewhere, which is what the first one was. We'll see. I'll find out when I read it, but I'm very intrigued because I really enjoyed the first one, even though it wasn't perfect for me, and I'm really intrigued by her profession. So we'll see what happens with this one. And then one book that I am trying to get an arc for, but I don't know if they'll do arcs for it this time because the second book did so well. But that's going to be The Casanova by T.L. Swan, which will be book 3 in the Miles High Club. We'll see if Elliot can hold a candle to my sweet, sweet Tristan. We'll see. I have high hopes for this. But this comes out near the end of August. But again, if there are arcs for this book, I will snap one up as quickly as I possibly can. But either way, I will read it the day. I'll either read it the day it comes out, which is in August, or if I get an arc for it. So I had to put it on this list because y'all know how I feel about T.L. Swan, specifically these brothers. So it's going to be great. Then let's talk about the buddy reads that are going to happen. So the first one is going to be the Rake Appreciation Society choice for August. Well, for September, but I'm going to read it in August. Does that make sense? The one for September is going to be Lord of Scoundrels. The month of August, we're doing Devil in Disguise, but I'm reading that in the month of July, so that's why I'm showing this one. This is a reread for me. Crystal has never read this one, and so since we did one of her favorite historicals back in June, when we did Indigo, I wanted to do one of my favorite historicals that she hadn't read yet, and for me that is Lord of Scoundrels. I read this book last year, and I loved it so much. I've read another Loretta Chase since then, and I really like that as well. So we're going to give this one a try again. And I really hope Crystal loves it, but for sure I know I love it. And I can't wait to read it with you guys and talk about it on Crystal's channel when we have the live show in September. Then I'm going to be reading the Enslaved duet by Gianna Darling with my friend Tori from Novel Life. We recently both read the Antiheroes in Love duet by her, and we loved it so much. And while I will never read, and I'm saying never because I mean it, read the Evolution of Sin trilogy, I did want to read about Cosima and Alexander, and so I'm going to read Enthralled and Enamored with Tori sometime in August, so that'll be fun. And then this isn't really a like buddy read, but it's part of a romance booktuber almost 2 years ago. No, a year and a half ago, we set up these traveling books that we were going to do. And we've had some success with it here and there. Like some of the books are still moving, but some of them have just got stuck on people's shelves and are kind of halted for now. But I finally got another one to do. I did Managed previously. The book I sent around was The Bride. I'm hoping to get it back. It will have made its way through 4 other people by the time I get it back, so I'm very excited. But this is The Protege by Brianna Hale. This is one of Tamika's favorite books. It's definitely her favorite author. And so Tamika annotated this, Izzy annotated this, and now it's my turn. And I'm very excited. This is a Guardian Ward book. There is also music involved. There is also Daddy Kink and BDSM involved. And I'm just so excited to read this and annotate it and to read what everyone else said as they read it too. So excited. And then we have our channel buddy read, which is super fun. So this month I decided to do different than a spinner wheel because it takes me so long to put all of the entries into it, and then you spin it and then it's like done. So this time I decided to do a random number generator. So I wrote all of the picks, I don't want to show you, but like I wrote all of the picks down and numbered them in my notebook. And then I did a random number generator and I got the number 8. And the number 8 on my list, so now I can show it to you, was In Bed with the Devil by Lorraine Heath. So I'm really excited for this because I'm trying to make my way through the Lorraine Heath backlist. And so the person who recommended this, which I don't have that in front of me, I'm very excited about it. And I'm glad that it's a historical again. Last month we did Never Seduce a Scot, and I loved it. And look at this. Sometimes it's worthwhile to be wicked. So this one says, they call him the Devil Earl, a scoundrel and accused murderer who grew up on the violent London streets. A proper young lady risks more than her reputation when consorting with the roguishly handsome Lucian Langdon. Ooh, nice. But Lady Catherine Maybury believes she has no choice to even strike a bargain with the devil himself. Lucian desires respectability and a wife above all else, but the woman of his choosing lacks the social graces to be accepted by the aristocracy. Catherine can help Lucian gain everything he wants, but what she asks for in exchange will put their very lives in jeopardy. When danger closes in, Catherine discovers a man of immense passion, and he discovers a woman of immeasurable courage. As secrets from his dark past are revealed, Lucian begins to question everything he knows to be true, including the yearnings of his own heart. So, I don't know what series this one's a part of, or if it's one of her standalones, but I don't care. I'm very excited for this. You'll see in a minute, actually I have another Lorraine Heath on my list too. So, but the woman has so many books that I need to keep it moving. All right, so I also have, the category I titled it was like Just Because. So there's some books that I've just been wanting to get to, and so we're going to try to do it this month. So the first one of those is Take a Hint, Dani Brown. I've been wanting to read some more Talia Hibbert because I read her Ravenwood series, and so I asked, like, my friend Crystal said her favorite one in the series was Take a Hint, Dani Brown. So I'm going to start with this one. I know it's not the first one, but I'm going to start with this one, and then if I like it, I'll read some of the others. So this one is, Danica Brown, and Zafir Ansari, and he like rescues her during a fire drill, and so then they do a fake relationship for publicity reasons. So it looks adorable. I've heard it's amazing, and I'm ready to give it a go. Then I want to read One Summer by Karen Roberts. This is a book that's been recommended quite a few times on my, book to read each month for our buddy read. And so I recently purchased it, and then I was like, well, I'm just going to try to read it because I believe there's an audiobook for this one, and I really wanted to give it a go because I think this is like a contemporary, but it was written in 1993, which is the year I was born, which is crazy. And this is what it says. Johnny Harris is home again, his too tight jeans and belligerent attitude honed to perfection by a 10-year stretch in federal prison for murder. Now he's out on parole and ready for the job. Rachel Grant has promised to help him begin a new life. Unlike the rest of the town, Rachel has always believed in her former student's innocence. But one thing has changed. This sullenly handsome boy she remembered is still sullen, still handsome, but no longer a boy. And now the small Kentucky town is alive with gossip and whispers of scandal as friendship turns to passion and Rachel abandons a lifetime of propriety in the ex-con's arms. Then the killer strikes again. All evidence points to Johnny Harris, but Rachel knows he is innocent, and she knows she is next, as a shattering truth is uncovered and dark passions explode in the relentless summer heat. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. I get why this was recommended. So it's a teacher romance, but she's no longer his teacher. And it's an age gap then, I'm guessing. Wow, okay. I'm hyped. I literally bought it because it gets recommended. That's the thing, guys. If you recommend a book over and over again and it doesn't get picked, if it's one that sounds interesting, I'm still going to try it. Then I want to read The Play by Elle Kennedy. I've been making my way through the Briar U series. This one I know is a lot of people's favorite. I'm going to get the audiobook for this one, and I'm going to read this. This is a college sports romance, and this one is Hunter and Demi. And I'm very excited because Hunter, he was done kind of dirty in one of the previous books. He was a bit used and abused, and I'm very excited. This one's a thick beast too, so I'm going to try to read this. Then I want to read Secret Beast by Amelia Wilde. I like Amelia Wilde. I like her Poseidon retelling that I recently read. And this series, this trilogy, I think, is part of the Midnight Dynasty, which is what Lessons in Sin and Heartless and the Cinderella series are all involved in. This one, I think, is about Leo Morelli, I think, without looking. And he was like the villain in one of the other series. So I'm really excited to get started with this. And then I also want to do Royally Yours by Emma Chase. This is like a prequel to her Royally series, and it's about the woman who is currently the queen and is like 90 years old. And it's about her love story with her husband, who is like now gone. So I'm nervous to read it because I don't usually like knowing about the end date, but I also know that he lived a very long and happy life, and I'm really intrigued to read this. And I already have the audiobook. I bought it when there was a sale on Audible, so I want to read this one a lot. So excited. Then I have my books from my Kindle owned TBR. So this is something that I do. You know, I have a list, which, do I have it nearby? I have a list nearby of all the books that I own on Kindle that I've purchased either when they were free or when they were cheap, or when one of my friends was like, oh my God, I love this, buy it. And I try to read at least 5 of them every month. This month of July, I did not have great luck. I picked some that I just didn't like a lot. So I tried to be a little more like picking with my mood, and we'll see where it goes. But my Kindle owned TBR is kind of my lowest tier of what I get to. Like, you know, these different categories that I put my TBR into, because they're just ones that I'm like trying to get to. Like, there's not an urgency for them. So if I'm not liking those ones, I don't push myself into it, you know. But for this time, I picked Darker Than Love by Anna Zares. This is a book that I've tried putting on my TBR so many times because it's the oldest owned book on my Kindle. And I've put it on the Kindle clearouts, and I've put it on the Mafia readathon, and I just never got to it because I, for some reason, just have the don't wants when it comes to it. But I'm going to try reading it this time. This is a Mafia. We can do this, Jen. We can do this. Then I have Wrecked by J.B. Salisbury. I believe this is a military or ex-military romance. Firelight by Kristen Callahan, which I usually have that one right behind me, but I don't. This is one I also have the audiobook for, and I've been wanting to get to for a long time because I believe this is a steampunk series. Not sure, but I like Kristen Callahan's like other work, and I want to try this one. Darling All at Once by Piper Lennox. I think this is a surprise pregnancy. And I don't mind when it's surprise pregnancy. I just don't like secret pregnancy. You guys know this. So I believe this one is like, it has an interesting premise because this woman, she has a one-night stand with someone, and then she agrees to be her sister's surrogate. And so when she goes in to get tested for it, she finds out she's already pregnant. And I just like that premise because that sounds exciting. The Viking Queen's Men by Holly Trent. I believe this is a reverse harem with a Viking queen. I've had this one for a long time. And then Scandalous Passions by Nicola Davidson, and this is in FFM. And I think it's a shorter story. So there's those. Okay, so let's get into my TBR tin. In case you don't know, I have this TBR tin that has a bunch of romance reading prompts in it. And I pick 5 of them, and then I pick 5 books for it. So let's go through the ones that I got. So I got Read and HR written before the year 2000. And so for that one, I picked one I recently bought that is called A Pirate of Her Own. This one is pretty beat up, so I don't really have, like, it's hard to read the blurb on this one because it got ripped. It's okay. But it says, few know Morgan Drake's true name, but many fear the sea wolf, the scourge of the oceans, a fearless pirate who frees impressed American sailors from British vessels. Now a beautiful reporter is willing to risk her life, her innocence, and her heart to reveal the secrets that Morgan is determined to protect at any cost. So I want to try to read that one because this one came out in 1999. So that fits that prompt. Then I had an author you've never read before, and this prompt was given to me by Shan Reads. And I picked Samantha James, A Perfect Hero, which is one I recently did for a Step Back Saturday, and I just loved it. And this one says, can a perfect scoundrel be a perfect hero? Since she was cruelly left at the altar at the age of 22, Lady Juliana Sterling has resolved to have nothing to do with men. So she is shocked to discover she has unwelcome feelings for the very worst of the breed, a dangerous, unbearably handsome highwayman who has set upon her coach in the countryside and taken her captive. Worse still, her righteous ire turns quickly to disappointment when the irresistible outlaw sets her free. Viscount Dane Granville knows he should not have revealed his face to the enchanting Lady Juliana, for he has compromised a secret mission he has undertaken for the crown in the guise of the notorious magpie. Now their paths are crossing once more, and Dane aches to taste again the sweetness of her kiss, but he must resist with his heart what his heart demands, for their passion can only lead to perils beyond imagining. That sounds amazing. I love highwaymen. Sounds awesome. Then I had read a book you hauled in 2020. So this is hard because a lot of it's just hard to know without tracking. But I know that I got this one at the beginning of 2020 because I read the first 2 books in this series then. And so I'm going to do The Virtuoso by Grace Burrows. This is a book that I have put on TBRs and put off and haven't gotten to, but I absolutely loved the air. It's one of my favorite historical romances ever, just because it was so romantic. And this one is about one of the brothers, because this is the Duke's, what is it called? The Duke's heirs or something, I don't know. But this one is about Valentine Wyndham. Oh, the Duke of Wyndham's kids or whatever. Youngest son of the Duke of Moreland, has little interest in his father's obsession to see his son married, and instead pours passion into his music. But when Val loses his music, he flees to the country alone and tormented by what has been robbed of him. Grieving Ellen Markham has hidden herself away, looking for safety in solitude. Her curious new neighbor offers a kindred lonely soul whose desperation is matched only by his desire. But Ellen's devastating secret could be the one thing that destroys them both. Together they'll find there's no rescue from the past, but sometimes losing everything can help you find what you need most. So I want to get to that. Then here's the other Lorraine Heath, because this one says read the next HR in a series, and this was from Shay Geeks Out. And so last month, or this month actually, I read Passions of a Wicked Earl, and so the next one in that series is Pleasures of a Notorious Gentleman. This is leading up to, I want to read book 3 in this series, but I've really enjoyed the first one. And this one is, as the black sheep, second son of an earl, Stephen Lyons has gained a reputation in the art of seduction. But when his wicked ways result in scandal, he joins the army to redeem himself. On the battlefield, he proves courageous until he is seriously wounded. Returning home to recover, he discovers he can't remember the angelic beauty who arrives at his doorstep, his babe nestled in her arms. Mercy Dawson will risk everything to protect the son of the dashing soldier she once knew and admired. When Stephen offers to do the honorable thing, she is determined that London's most notorious gentleman will desire her and no other. But Mercy fears what began as an innocent deception could destroy her dreams and their blossoming love if Stephen ever learns the scandalous truth. Wow, must not be her kid. That's my guess. And then, I'm really excited for this. Read your most recent purchase. So 2 of my most recent purchases are already in these stacks today, but one that I also bought and I'm really excited to read is Hot and Badgered by Shelly Lawrenston. So my friend Nicole from Who Picked This Book, she has talked about this series in the past and I'm really excited to try it. So yeah, I'm just excited. It's a paranormal badger shifter, and it says this. It's not every day that a beautiful naked woman falls out of the sky and lands face first on Grizzly. Oh, he's a grizzly shifter. Why is it called Badger then? Okay. On his balcony. Definitely, they don't usually hop up and demand his best gun. Bird gives the lady a grizzly-sized t-shirt and his cell phone, too, just on style points. And then she's gone, taking his XXL heart with her. By the time he figures out she's a honey badger shifter, it's too late. Oh, okay. Honey badgers are survivors. Brutal, vicious, ill-tempered survivors. Or maybe Charlie Taylor McKilligan is just pissed that her useless father is trying to get them all killed again. And won't even tell her how. Protecting her little sisters has always been her job, and she's not about to let some pesky giant grizzly protection specialist with a network of every shifter in Manhattan get in her way. Wait, he's trying to help? Why would he want to do that? He's cute enough that she just might let him tag along. That is, if he can keep up. So I'm going to try to read that. So there we go. Those are all the books that I'm looking to read. If you would like to join in on the buddy read, which will be of the Lorraine Heath, you can find that link down below in my link tree for my Discord. That's where we do the buddy reads. It's also a great place to hang out and do all the fun stuff. So Yep. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe. I put up new videos 3 to 4 times a week. There are TBRs, recommendations, wrap-ups, all that fun stuff. Yeah, I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.